Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Charles Lastic and this channel is Developing Extraordinary. So today's video is all about how you can achieve success in just 2 minutes a day. It's a master strategy which almost certainly guarantees success over time, and this is what today's video is about. So without further ado, let's cue the intro. Hi and welcome back. So there are only two things required for success. Now, success is determined by you. Only you can decide what success means. And it's obviously different things for different people. Now, I've been trying to achieve ongoing levels of success for more than 40 years. And for me, it's not a destination, it's a journey. But really, trying to move myself forward comes down to two things only. Number one, building and achieving your goals, and number two, maintaining excellent habits. So good habits are important, and they're probably much more effective when it comes to dealing with things that are really important in life, because they're the ongoing things in your life, like your health, your relationships, your finances, that kind of thing, as opposed to a goal which is set and eventually hopefully gets achieved. So that's really the two things that you need to focus on: hitting and achieving goals and maintaining excellent habits. So if building habits is such a great strategy, what does the master strategy involve? It involves really measuring and controlling those habits on a day-by-day basis. In other words, measuring everything. So if you're losing weight, standing on a set of scales. So I have a set weight, for instance, that I want to achieve. And if I'm over that weight, I just record it as a plus so many pounds. And actually, I'm never below it, to be honest. And well, not so certainly to date. So because it's quite a tough target, but really all I'm doing is I'm saying I'm plus 6 pounds, I'm plus 7 pounds, whatever the weight is. And then really it's a very simple measure. I'm not writing the whole thing down because it's much quicker to monitor. So seeing how you're doing every day and proceeding to check and reflect upon the previous day gives you some measure of control. But even more importantly, it's managing it, measuring it, and writing it down. So the master strategy is tracking every single habit and everything that's important in your life. So at present, I track 47 different things every single day. And the system works on something called don't break the chain. In other words, if you got up at 6 o'clock every morning for 3 days, and then for some reason you go to bed late one night and then don't get up the following morning, you just broke the chain. Now, that impetus of trying not to break the chain helps you actually not break the chain, especially when you go on a long run. And if you get 30 days on a trot, you're really reluctant to break the chain. And of course, that's good because you're trying not to, and you're trying to keep those habits maintained on a regular basis. So don't break the chain is a really effective strategy for maintaining excellent habits. Okay, so what happens if you do break the chain? Well, we're all human, right? And especially when you're trying to develop new habits, it's quite difficult to set these things in place and make sure that they happen every day. So yeah, chances are you are going to break the chain at some point. And really the point is not to let it go 2 days and never, ever, ever let it get to 3 days. Once is bad enough. 2 is not good, 3 is an absolute no-no. If you've set that in stone in your mind, then you're much less likely to fall by the wayside in achieving it. And having accountability certainly with habits is an important thing. We cover that in a separate video, but today is just making sure that as you're not breaking the chain and you're recording it on a day-by-day basis, that in itself is what's giving you the impetus. So what habits should you have? Well, you should look at something called the Wheel of Life. Now, you can look this up on Google, or you can go to our website and you'll see it in the Mind section there. And really, it's just different areas of your life. So it may be your health, it may be your relationship, it may be your home, it may be your finances, it may even be your spouse, different areas of your life that you want to track and make sure that you're achieving high standards. So the first thing to do is to set the standard. So for instance, in health, my end goal is wanting to be a kick-ass 100-year-old. Now, that means I still want to be skiing when I'm 95, and I still want to be kite surfing when I'm 95. So if that's the standard of health I want to achieve, what do I need to do? So really, I've set the game. The game is be a kick-ass 100-year-old. So what are the rules of the game? I've got to define those rules, and I've got to say, okay, if these are the rules of the game, what do I need to do to win in the game? Now, if you do that with all aspects of your life, set a standard, set a game, make it a game in your mind, determine what the rules are, determine what you need to do to be excellent at that game, and then build those habits and carry them out. So other examples of games other than health, you could play the best dad in the world game, you could play the best boss in the world game, but the main point is set the standards, name the game, and play the game. So you have to ask yourself, what daily habits should you put into place to meet that standard? Now, often it will be more than one habit that you need to put into place to be excellent at the game that you've set out. And really, it's about identifying it and tracking those habits. So if you're going to track the habits, how do you track them? Well, it's straightforward. You could use an Excel spreadsheet, as simple as that. You could just use a notebook. You could have a chart on the wall. Doesn't matter how you do it. The fact is that you do it and you track it. Now, the ideal and easiest thing is to set up yes/no habits. Did you do it or did you not do it? Okay, did you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? Did you train in the morning? Did you meditate? Did you read for an hour? Did you talk nicely to your children? Whatever the game is that you're playing, did you do it or did you not do it? And therefore it becomes really easy to track. So if you want to track 50 things and they're a yes, no, it's simple. You tick the box or you don't tick the box. That's it. So it's very, very fast, and that's how you get to 2 minutes a day. Now, when you're playing your game, you'll find that some habits and some things in life that you want to track are not possibly yes or no. So, for instance, let's take your values. So I have 8 strong values in my life, which I try and maintain on a daily basis. So how do you measure something like integrity? How do you measure something like cheerfulness? How do you measure something like tact? Well, impossible with a yes or no, right? But you can score it out of 10. So as you're going through your review the following morning or the night on the night of the day, however you keep track, you would just give yourself a score out of 10. Now, I keep it on a software system, so therefore what I can do is then get an average over a week and an average over a month and an average over a year, and that sees if I'm progressing or at very least maintaining a high standard that I'm trying to achieve. And it soon becomes obvious from the scores as to whether I'm getting better or getting worse. There is no status quo generally on these things. Usually you're getting better or you're getting worse. And by measuring it daily and giving yourself a true and honest score. Now, let's face it, nobody else is looking at this other than you, so you may as well be honest with yourself. Put it down properly and see how you're progressing. Now, what then happens if you're not progressing and you're not hitting the yes, no, or you're not hitting good scores? So, as I said, with a yes, no, and with a score out of 10, you can quite quickly, and in fact it takes less than 2 minutes a day, track around 50 habits. So if you're not hitting a particular habit, what are you going to do? This is where journaling comes in, and I'm a big advocate of journaling. So you do it every morning. I personally prefer to do it the morning after. Some people prefer to do it at night. Doesn't matter, as long as you do it religiously and every 15 minutes. So, and it takes you around 15 minutes. So if you've got your list of tracks and you've ticked it off just before you do your journal, you do a review on an ongoing basis, and you can see, have you missed something twice on the trot? Have your scores reduced over 2 days in a particular area? Journal it. What went wrong in your head? Work out what went wrong, work out what went right, write down what you're going to tweak today to get your scores better, or get a yes if you had a no, and use that journal as a mechanism for tweaking these 50 or so habits on an ongoing basis. Okay, so in summary, that's it. You need 2 minutes a day, that's all, and you can track 40 or 50 different activities. If you do it religiously, use your journal to identify where you're falling down. That will ensure a successful life if what you're tracking are the big things in your life, which is what I'm advocating. Okay, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you found it useful. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. There's a lot more of this to come. But thanks for listening, and goodbye for now. Bye.